Hey everyone, it's TB Shores. It's May the 21st, 2015. In this video, I just want to point out a few obvious things about this transportation hub mezzanine. Now this is a picture of it, one of the pictures of it. And we see here that it has quite an unusual look to it. But one of the first things I want to point out again is this right here, where it refers to this transportation hub as the path. That again is the mimicking where we see in the scriptures of how Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And here they're wanting to make the way or the path. Okay, next thing I want to point out is right here where we see how this thing is designed. It said it is the design called for the ocular space to be left open, forming a wedge of light so that the sun rays around the autumnal equinox would hit the World Trade Center footprints each September. And then down at the bottom of that paragraph it says the oculus will be at an angle to maximize the effect of the autumnal equinox rays. I think it's important that we take the information back in our head and hang on to it, because I think that is something that we're going to run into again as we look into the occult side of what's going on here. In case you don't know, the autumnal equinox is the time when the day or a 24-hour period consists of an equal amount of light and darkness. And I think that in the spiritual realm, that is something that they view as favorable, and they will try to play upon it. The next thing I want to point out is just some more oddities about this. Here in this, it refers to it as a flying bird. Okay. It also, let's just read a little bit of this. It says, yes, those white doohickeys protruding from the flying bird are certainly being installed. Oh, excuse me, currently. I'm sorry, I can't see good. I need some new glasses. Y'all just forgive me, please. One thing I meant to point out while we were over here is how it refers to this. It says, the oculus resembles a bird being released from a child's hand. Well, I don't know who thinks that, but it's obvious that's not what it appears to be. Over here we see again it being referred to as a flying bird. We come on down a little bit further and it says, when all's said and done, it will look like this flying bird. We're going to click on that in a minute. But who feels like a porcupine or stegosaurus vibe is more palatable? And see what I'm saying here is there are those who are referring to it as a monstrous type of structure. And we're going to click on this right here where it says the flying bird. And let me see. I can't remember what came up here. I thought it was something we wanted to see. Once we get past loading in the junk, maybe. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. All right, here again, it's referring to this as, let's see. This is about the cost of Calatrava's bird keep on soaring at ground zero. This is talking about the enormous cost of this thing. And it has almost doubled. It started out at, I think, 1.9 million. I think it's up to 3.9 million now. These articles are old. This was back in 2011. trying to see if there's anything significant I want to point out here. Just about the cost and how wasteful it is. It's talking about that right here. As for when the PATH station will be finished, the report warns us to expect a fresh 3-month delay. The unconscionable waste of precious ground zero earth. It's a waste of ground. Many feel it's a waste of ground and a waste of money, but yet it goes on. And the cost continues to soar, just as the headline reads, soaring. The cost is soaring, okay? That's something I wanted to point out because it seems that no matter what the obstacle, this thing is going up. It's important that it gets up. Okay, next we're going to go to, sorry, my computer's a little slow here. Bear with me, please. I'm a little tired of it myself. Next, we see this. Of course, we get a better look at it as the Stegosaurus in this picture. It does. If you look at it like this, it looks like some kind of beast. The thing I want to point out here, let me see if I can find it. I've read so much stuff I can't remember what's where. Right here. It says the hub features an oculus design, which will give the facility a distinctive wing-like appearance. So since when does oculus, which means eye, have anything to do with wings? Do you understand what I'm saying here? This is not what it appears to be. They are trying to make us think it's one thing, when it's obviously something else. It's going to serve the agenda. They think they're setting it up to serve a future agenda. It says, when completed, the oculus, the upper portion of the transportation hub, will serve as a main concourse, incorporating 225,000 square feet of existing multi-level retail and restaurant space. Now, from what I've seen in pictures, it's kind of like a mall where they have just these sectioned off places. Of course, you could put a retail, restaurant, whatever, within. But it could also serve as a very nice office building for someone with a big ego, if you know what I'm saying. Here it says it will become the centerpiece of the entire lower Manhattan district. So here we're back to it being the prominent place of Manhattan, as we saw with all the other videos and the things I pointed out, how that Satan has set his seat up in Manhattan, primarily the World Trade Center complex. Another thing I wanted to point out is if you look right here, if you see this right there, see how that is the shape of the eye? It's an oblong shape like an eye. All right, the next thing I wanted to point out, let's see. Bear with me. This computer is slower than I am. Okay. This is, the wording of this is what really caught my attention. Okay, we know in Revelations, it speaks of, or gives us the impression that something will rise out of the pit. Okay, I don't have the scripture right in front of me, so I'm sure you'll get the gist of what I'm saying here, and I should have looked the scripture up. I apologize. But it says that this transit hub is now rising, check this out, rising out of its enormous pit. And the first sign of visible progress is the beginning of the steel spine. Okay, right there. the spine right there, which will connect all of the enormous wings. See, this is like, again, like he is mimicking creation. He's making his own creation here. I know some of you may sound like a stretch, but you've got to understand, Satan is trying to, in this modern world, he's trying to appear as if the scriptures apply to him, okay? The whole point of it is, during the tribulation, the man of sin, the Antichrist, will set himself up in a ruling position and claim to be God. Therefore, he's got to have his surroundings to look like he is God. And if he can point to certain things and say, well, that scripture is speaking of this. And you have to remember, too, they probably have their own version of the Bible, but it will have enough of what's in our Bible to convince people that of the delusion that's coming, okay? This is all about the delusion that's coming. It's setting up for the delusion. I'm going to cut this off and I'll be back. Bye.